How concerned should we be about Jamar Chase? Hi again, everyone. I'm James Rapien, publisher of allbengals.com and Cincinnati Bengals Talk. And that is a question that not only am I asking about Jamar Chase, but the rest of Bengals media is asking, Bengals fans are asking about it, and really fans across the country, because fantasy football is almost here, which obviously when the NFL season starts, you're going to have a bunch of teams. Probably, I know I'm in a bunch of leagues. And so you want to know, even if you're not a Bengals fan, what the hell is going on with Jamar Chase? Well, here's why I'm buying Jamar Chase stock. And it's not just from a fantasy perspective, it's just from a stock perspective. And I'll get to the fantasy stuff in a few minutes. But look, it couldn't have went worse for Jamar Chase over the past couple of weeks. Whether it's the 3 drops in Washington, where they're just ugly and he short arms one, and it just looks like he's like, oh man, you drafted him with the 5th pick? The 5th pick? Or is he a 5th? Oh, he's a 5th rounder. He's a 5th rounder, right? Like that's how he looked. And I'm not making fun of him, but that's the reality of it. That's what you would expect from a 5th rounder. And even then, that would be a bit much. And then he follows up 3 drops in Washington 2 days later. And I'm at practice. A bunch of other people are at practice. And we talked about it, right? The dropped touchdown in 7-on-7 drills. Mike Hilton intercepts it. Or no, it was Von Bell intercepts it. And it's like, oh my God, what is going on with this kid? And then he had a great week of practice after that, responded well, was catching everything. I think he had 1 drop in 4 practices. And then he drops the ball again on Sunday in the preseason finale against the Miami Dolphins. And this was from Joe Burrow. So what do we make of this? Well, I think he's fighting it a bit right now, certainly struggling a bit. And I even saw him drop 1 pass on Thursday on air where there was no defenders around him, because I've seen some people speculate, oh, well, it's because he thinks he's going to get hit. I don't think it's that. I think you're talking about a technique and mental type of thing right now. And he's got to fight through it. I've talked to Tyler Boyd about this, talked to T. Higgins about this. It's about reps and reps. And to me, what Jamar is going through right now, for whatever reason, whether it's the year off, whether it's just he had 1 drop and it snowballed and now it's a thing, it's kind of going through what Joe Burrow went through early in training camp, where the mental side of things was getting to him. He felt the bodies around him right in the pocket, and he couldn't see who was who. He couldn't, his natural instincts were not being utilized the way it normally is. And he normally uses them. Why? Because he was coming back from injury. So maybe it is the year off for Jamar, but things just aren't clicking the right way. Here's the good news, and here's why I think it's going to click. This kid obviously has the talent. You ask people around the league, they feel it, they see it. The Bengals certainly feel it. They were in agreement about Jamar being the 5th pick, and I'm not going to bring up who else was debated, because everyone seems to continue to do that, even though that man up north in Detroit is struggling right now too. It is natural. It doesn't mean either guy is going to be a bad player. In fact, I think Jamar is going to be a very, very, very good player, and that's why I'm buying stock right now when the stock has dropped and might be at its lowest it's going to be for the next decade. Jamar Chase works his ass off. And that's what I bank on when I'm looking for coworkers or people that I want to associate with, even friends. Are you working hard? Are you putting the time in? Are you doing exactly what you need to do to be successful? And I look at Jamar and it's like, okay, he is, by all accounts. From Joe Burrow to Zach Taylor, from a playbook standpoint, he is. They admit it. They say it. We see it on the practice field. He shows up early, stays late, in between drills and special team drills when other receivers like T. Higgins and Boyd, and I'm not calling them out, I'm just giving you an example of the work Chase is putting in. Chase is catching passes still, whether it's from a trainer, whether it's from a quarterback, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what quarterback, doesn't matter what trainer. He wants to catch passes, and he wants to keep it going. Reps. So that's why I'm buying in. I think he's going to put in the time. I think he's going to work his ass off, and he's going to figure it out. Right? As I record this, regular season just 9 days away for the Bengals. Regular season opener against Justin Jefferson, against the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson was obviously teammates with Jamar Chase. You know what the last thing Jamar wants is to drop a ball or multiple balls or cost his team in a game that matters. But from a fantasy football standpoint, it's pretty interesting too, because a few weeks back, I'd say 3 weeks ago, Jamar Chase was the number 1 receiver being taken in fantasy drafts. And these drops have completely tanked his value. And it's great if you're a fantasy football player that has drafts this weekend, because to me, I'm buying Jamar Chase. I checked on Fantasy Football Calculator, and he is being drafted at the end of the 7th round, 8th pick of the 7th round right now in 12-team PPR leagues. And just to give you an example, and I'll just pull it up on my phone here. He's being drafted ahead of a bunch of guys, or behind, DeVonta Smith, Robbie Anderson, Michael Thomas, Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham Jr. Michael Thomas. No, not the Bengals Mike Thomas, the guy who's going to be out for 6 weeks. I'd rather have Jamar Chase. And some people are going to be like, well, why? He's got T. Higgins in front of him, and obviously he's going behind T. Higgins in draft, and Tyler Boyd in front of him. Well, here's why. Why do you want T. Higgins? Because the Bengals featured him last year, right? This coaching staff. You know why they did that? Partially because he was their draft pick, because they bought in on him. And guess what? If you're a coaching staff and you buy in on a pick, you want that pick to play well so you could say, look, it's working. Give us time. Can you imagine if Jamar's a flop? The coaching staff can't do that. This is their guy. They got to make it work, and they're going to make it work. And he's going to get the ball in so many different ways. And I look back to last year, and A.J. Green had 47 receptions on 104 targets. So that's basically what Jamar Chase is going to replace. Here's the difference. They use Chase all over. Green was in one spot and kind of stuck there. They use Chase all over in this offense. Drag routes, slant routes, curl routes, deep curls, out routes, obviously posts, go routes. He's going to get the ball in so many different ways. And so if I'm a fantasy footballer, well, hell yeah, I'm buying Jamar Chase. His stock is dropping. I'm going to take him. How the hell is his stock lower than DeVonta Smith? Joe Burrow's going to throw it 450 times. So take advantage of this. Buy the stock. I think Jamar is going to be just fine. I've seen him make plenty of plays. He's a 21-year-old that took a year off. It's really unprecedented. He's adjusting to life in the pros. I think he's going to be just fine. He's going to get a bunch of targets. There are going to be weeks where he gets double-digit targets. He's going to be targeted in the red zone. He's going to get fades in the red zone. He's going to run in the back of the red zone. Joe Burrow trusts him. This coaching staff needs him to play well. They're going to give him every opportunity to do so. So at the end of the 7th round, you're getting elite talent in an offense that is extremely pass-heavy, a quarterback that knows these receivers, that wants to make sure not only Jamar, but all these guys are fed, an offense that should be explosive, a coaching staff that needs this receiver to step up, and they plan on using him all over the field. I get it. He's had some drops. He could also be, if receivers all the time. Odell Beckham Jr., right? His rookie year, he missed the first 2 games, I think, and was injured. And then he just exploded onto the scene and won leagues for a lot of people. This could be that. So from a fantasy perspective, I'm buying. And from a real life perspective, the man puts in the work. I like to bet on people, even people that mess up, because no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. No one's perfect, that are willing to put in the time and make the corrections. And I see Jamar doing that with wide receivers coach Troy Walters day in and day out at Bengals practice. For more on the Bengals, make sure you subscribe to Cincinnati Bengals Talk on YouTube. Hit that like button as well. Tell your friends about us, because we are not going anywhere. One of the fastest growing channels here when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals, and we have a ton on the way. So have a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching.